Hello everyone, welcome to Elliott Wave Forex.com YouTube channel. This is Henry. Today is Friday, February 17. So the time today is at 3:30 a.m. GMT, and we're gonna be looking at the chart of QQQ. This is an ETF that tracks the Nasdaq. It's a 1-hour chart. Now we can see right here that we are now doing this with two pullback in the minor degree, and with one ended here at 313, right? And we're now doing this with two in the form of a WXY, which is a double correction or a 7 swing, right? Now a couple of things we can point out here is this leg lower here. Now I don't know about you, but it looks better to be a 3 waves instead of trying to label this as a 5 waves down. So this, now if you agree that this looks better as a 3 waves, then technically speaking, this by itself is telling you that more likely than not it will extend higher, right? Because if it is bearish, you would have expected the move down to be a 5 waves, right? You would have expected the move down to be a 5 waves, but this is only a 3 waves in the first leg. So if we can go down again from here, because the first leg is a 3 swing, which is a corrective structure, then more likely than not, this area here can find support again, okay? And this is when your WXY reaches extension, right? The 100% extension. So the support is between 283, which is the 161.8% extension, all the way up to $293, which is the 100% extension. And from here, we expect QQQ to either go to new high again, or at least is going to bounce from here. So the bounce usually is in a 3 waves like this minimum. So let's say if it decides to do even a bigger correction, then after a 3-ish rally it can go down again, but more likely than not this area can see support for at least a 3 waves, if not going to new high. Okay, now zooming out, if I look at the daily time frame, let's copy some of this count here. This with 1 at 313 would be here, and now we're looking for with 2 here like this, right? And then from here we can see more upside again. Now a couple of observation, okay, let's see couple of observation here. So this is the all-time high in the QQQ back in November 2021 right? Since then it has corrected quite a lot, all the way down to 250 from 400, so almost half, right? Almost like a 50% correction. Okay, so this low here was back in October 2022, right? Now if you look at the channel, you can see it breaks the channel. What that tells us is that the cycle is finished. Now what happens if the cycle is finished? If the cycle is finished, you have only two options. Either it can go to new high. Of course, I'm not talking about overnight. This is a daily time frame, so it will be multi-month, multi-years. It can start to go higher, eventually go to new all-time high. Or another option is going to be sideways for many years between this range. Or another option still is we're going to be correcting this decline. Now so far the rally is in a 3 swing so far, which is we still don't know yet whether this is a corrective rally or an impulsive rally. We need more time, right? this can become, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, becoming 5 waves, or it can become a nest 1, 2, 1, 2, and then extend higher in 3 of 3. Or if it is corrective, then this is an ABC, right? So only we need more time to be able to know exactly which way. But what we can conclude as of today, this cycle ended. So if this cycle ended, the expectation is either you go to new high or you should at least correct this cycle. Now, if you are correcting this cycle, then typically you do just a rough guideline, right? You do retracement. Now you can see that currently it is at the 38.2%. So typically I would say when a cycle ended, the correction minimum is 38.2. But I would love to see at least 50% or even a 61.8% correction, right? When the cycle ended. But technically speaking, yeah, I would say 38.2 is like the minimum. So for example, if this is super bearish, for example, then whatever you want to label this, you can label this with 1 or with W, whatever you want to label this. This could be your ABC correction, finish, and go down again. But then the implication is it's too bearish in my opinion, because we just recently break above the trend line not too long ago. And if you're gonna be looking for a new low, you're gonna go to this is gonna be your first leg, this is gonna be your second leg. Your 100% is 159. It looks a little bit out of reality in my opinion, right? From 400 to 159 is a little bit too much. So I would say that it is less likely to happen, something like that. But I think if, let's say, if it can get sideways, I think it's very possible. For example, we could actually, let's say, go down, retest this broken trend line, and almost giving the impression it's going to break lower, but only to rally again. Now that's possible, right? But for now, we are taking the more sort of constructive or positive view in the indices, or in the stock market. And if you look at the 1 hour time frame, we're looking for pullback to find support and then continue to go higher again. Now that's the long-term sort of analysis, right? Now in the short term, I think we will come back to the idea that this leg down here, it looks corrective. Now I think with this structure of the first leg down, like I mentioned before, it gives it a higher probability that there is really a better chance to extend higher. Because if this is more bearish than it is, then I would have expected something like this. Right, I would have expected 1 to 1.618 extension 4.5, but it didn't happen. So it looks better as the 3 waves, and that 3 waves, it's also ending at there is no extension on the third leg in this first three swing down here. I mean, if you measure the projection here, you can see it's a 100% extension only, right? So all in all, I would say that it still has a higher probability we will eventually extend higher again, and this is the next support from the QQQ, where we can go higher to new high, or at least rally in 3 ways, right? So if you want to get more updates on QQQ or any other ETF, indices, Forex, commodities, cryptos, you can try our service. We have 14 days trial, and the link is in the description of the YouTube video. So I'll see you all again next time. Have a nice day, everyone.